Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, August 28th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names on our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and ideally are not yet too extended in their moves. As always, these videos are powered by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We curate ideas based on their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. Now, we got 6 names we're looking at today. The market has stabilized. It's still range bound. We did a market recap video yesterday, so you can watch the previous video on this feed or head to the Trade Risk blog to listen to sort of the thoughts on the broad market. This is all about individual stock setups, so let's jump into it. We have 6 names, 3 names from IBD's list, 3 names from our watch list. We're going to kick things off with IBD's list here. CPRT. You can see that this one is back to support that has been in place since June of this year. Now, this doesn't look so impressive on its own, but if we kind of zoom out here and just take a look at the big picture of CPRT, you can see this has been in a very strong run to the upside here. It's trading just off of its all-time highs. It really hasn't suffered a tremendous amount of technical damage here over the past couple of months, but it has potentially developed this topping pattern here. So be interesting to see whether or not this actually breaks down and turns into some type of topping pattern, or if this turns into some type of continuation pattern here. So far, the trend favors the upside. This has been a favorite here by the bulls. So if we can continue to hold on to $73, I think you have a clear risk to reward there, and you have a clear stop out point or even a momentum short if the market starts to roll over, if CPRT starts to roll over. So back to support, rebounding today. Let's see if it can hold in there, strong market leader. Next up is INMD. I like to throw these recent IPOs in here, and this is why I like IBDs, because they have an IPO list, which is something that's pretty hard to keep track of. I mean, you have to really stay on top of it, and I like the curation that they do here. I don't trade personally a lot of the super young issues like this, but I know a lot of traders that do, that like these setups, and they can certainly explode. So I wanted to surface this one here, because as you can see, this one came public just last month at $13.50, and it's up 60% in just that time. And right now, it's just off of these all-time highs, and it's kind of flagging out here and consolidating, and this could turn into potentially a continuation pattern here. So INMD, again, a very volatile name, so understand the risk and the movement in something like this, but this is coiling up here, and we should pay attention to the higher lows and lower highs that are in place. Last but not least from IBD's list is Blackline, BL. I think we've highlighted this one in the past, not so recently, but this one is back to sort of wedging out here. It's putting in this series of lower highs that have been in place. It's starting to flatline just a little bit. MACD trying to move sideways here. If we zoom out, you can see it's got a longer term consolidation history in this area, but notice today we have this long tail down here. We have a reversal. We're back above the recent lows here, so kind of be looking for some follow through here to finally break the downtrend, perhaps lift back up over, say 51.70, 50, even $52 to be safe. If we can start breaking back above there, this might be able to get its momentum back and can start to move back to the upper end of this range and start to work itself back higher. So BL, it's been sideways for quite a while here, but something to keep an eye on. Now, next 3 come from our watch list, and the first name is a name and a position that we already own. We do have a favorable entry in this. We bought this earlier in August, so we do own this around $53. We scaled a third of it into this move, but we still hold 2/3, and the way it is acting here, we like it for continued movement. No plans to sell the balance of this position anytime soon. We'd be looking for a move back, frankly, over $60. We don't know if we'll get it, but the trailing stops in place around 53, and really this is a name that has just broke out of a let's go to a weekly chart here. just to see the more sort of organized base that this just broke out from. So if we kind of zoom out here, we see that the real sort of trigger, that breakout entry, was around $53. That's what we originally played for, and it has turned out to be a favorable breakout. But notice this has been moved sideways for about 6 or 7 months. This has quite a lot of energy stored up here, and given the way this is kind of acting now, where it's working off this breakout, kind of pulling back a little bit, it's flagging out here, MACD still at highs, it looks like this could be kind of a higher low that gets put in, and some type of continuation pattern that might be interesting for anybody that doesn't or wasn't on board for the original breakout. You kind of have the even arguably a lower risk entry here with a defined stop loss if it starts to go. So CDAY, we own it. We scaled a third already. No plans to sell the balance of that position unless it starts violating back below this original breakout level. Next up is CARA. Now this one here I think is most interesting when you zoom out and take a bigger picture, because right now this looks like a lot of stocks out there basically pulling back off of highs, moving sideways, mulling around. But if we go to let's even go to a monthly chart, which I know is pretty extreme, but if we go back to all the way where it IPO'd back in 2014, we'll notice that this area here right over $23, this has been where the stock has repeatedly ran up to and then sort of abruptly sold off. So it happened here in 2014, it happened in 2015, it happened in 2017, it happened in 2018, and now here we are again in 2019. So we're at this very critical level that the stock has yet to really make consecutive daily, even weekly closes above, and here we are right at that level now. So I like the significance over time around this area, gives it a little more importance, and for me, looking at the daily chart now, if we just look something a little more closely defined here, the long-term level comes in right around this 2350 zone. So for me, getting above that, really getting above 2440 or so, setting this back into motion, this one could be a real explosive name that moves over multi-year resistance. So one step at a time. It's not there yet, but again, it's a good watch list candidate. CARA, check it out. Last but not least is TNDM. This is one, again, I think I may have talked about this a few weeks back, not anytime recently, but this one has been on the move recently now. It's broken out of this sort of channel it's been in. It's still held sideways here, so it still hasn't broken out to new highs, but you can see the base here has developed pretty nicely since March of this year. There's lots of sideways consolidation. It's off to a run now, a little uptick in volume. MACD is leading to the upside here, so TNDM, kind of a longer term breakout plays, something I'd look at on more of like a weekly time frame, something to be more patient with, but a medical devices name here that I think is interesting, especially if it can hold these levels and start to continue and clear above $71, $75, or $72. Really has lots of clear skies above it. So that's it. 6 names. Hopefully you find something there that looks interesting. Of course, as always, as a reminder, do your homework on these names. Check the earnings date. Make sure they fit your strategy and time frame. Make the idea your own, but hopefully these are some good jumping off points for you. So that's it from me. Every Wednesday, trade ideas just like this. Check back in. Follow us on the Trade Risk YouTube channel and blog. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video update.